Hi everyone, it is the 5th of April and I'm here to share my stitching with you. I decided today I was going to do something that was on my whip go board. It's also prompts and other acrostics and things, but I wanted to get one of my whip go challenges out of the way. So I pulled out Spring Quilt. It was one of my called whip go numbers. And that light is just washing it out. I'm so sorry. But there you have it. And so I needed to do a section of the whip go. And I had done the whole top row before, and I had done this side here down to here. So I decided the best thing for me to do would be to do this little side right there. And I can't get you to see it, but you'll be able to see it, I think, on my stitching. Okay. So this is the section that I did on Spring Quilt today. I did all the stitching and all the back stitching. There's a lot of back stitching. All the vines are back stitched, and all those little flowers had to be pin stitched. Because there's no stitching to hide anything you can't carry in the back. And then, of course, the watering can is back stitched for the most part. But we got that done. 588 stitches. So even if my whip go goal had been 5 hours instead of one section, it would have been about the same because that's about what it took me to stitch it. Anyway, so now it's even on both sides. Thank goodness we've got it coming down there. And then the next thing that'll be left are these two quilted corners. And then I have to do the border across here because I had to also finish this border. It didn't have the side and it didn't have the bottom. So I had to stitch the border. Well, it was on the inside, I think, all the way down and across before I could even get started because I counted off from the bottom. Anyway, I think it's beautiful. I love the colors. And of course, you can't see them very well because they're not backstitched. They're not called to be backstitched. They're very muted, but there are flowers in here, and there's a flower even right there. And I wish I could get it to where you could see it a little bit better, but anyway, it's kind of dusk here, so I don't have very good lighting today. Love it. I think that's beautiful. So that met one of my whip go calls for this month of April. It also was one of my acrostics, monthly magazine challenge or 24 hours, I can't remember which. And I had originally said that I was going to use it for an S in Easter eggs, and then I changed it to Stitcher's 12 Days just so I could get another whip in. But you know what? I think I'm going to change that back and let this one count because I did 588 stitches and I only need 300. So I've more than met the prompt if I used it for, the Easter eggs. So I think I may do that. But anyway, I'll be doing my posting here in a minute. Got to take a picture of it. I just wanted to jump on here and record this really quickly before we head off to choir practice. So if I'm talking a little hurried, that's why. We'll be leaving here in just a minute. Well, Spring Quilt, Whip Go Call, and at least 2 other prompts. So it's been a productive day, a very productive day. Update on how my eye is doing. It's doing great. I think the little blood vessel thing is almost gone. So my husband checks it every day. He's been taking pictures of it about every other day. I don't know why. I guess in case it didn't do well. But I must say I am loving it. Stitching on 32 count with no cheaters. Nothing. I love it. I have noticed in the evening as the light is not as good and my eyes get tired, I can still see it, but if I put my cheaters on, I see it a whole lot better in the evening. I don't need them during the morning. I don't even think about it. But when the light is not great, that's when I need them. So I'll keep them handy. I'm not going to put them away as far as, I'm not going to throw them away or anything. But I appreciate your interest in how I'm doing and all of you asking me how I'm doing. So thank you for that. Happy stitching, everybody. Thanks for letting me share it with you. And I hope to talk to you again tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 6th of April, and I'm here to give you an update. This morning, I got to talk and stitch with my friend Glow, and one of the things we've started doing recently is stitching on the same project together that we're working on. And we have 2 that we're doing at the same time right now, and we have plans to start a 3rd one, which I'll tell you about in just a little bit. But today we chose to work on When I Think of Stitching by Puntini Puntini. And I could use this, I didn't think when we started stitching on it, I didn't think I could use it for a prompt at all. But when I went back and looked, I could swap out this piece for a couple of other pieces and be able to count all these stitches, because I put in 675 stitches this morning on this piece because I kept stitching on it after Glow and I talked. But this is where I'm at. This is that beautiful fabric called Mind Blowing. Unfortunately, Fortnite Fabrics isn't dyeing fabric right now, so you can't get it. But I had this in my stash, and I thought it just looked beautiful with these colors. The colors just look so well on it. So I got started on it. What I did today is right in here. There is a sampler that's behind that word stitching, and I had done the alphabet to it, and the last time I stitched on it, I did the house. So today I did both trees. I came up here and did the border across, and then I started stitching in the filler, all the background, all around these little letters and words, and I got about halfway. I got about right here. And believe it or not, all of that together is 675 stitches. There's a lot of stitches in this little piece. Anyway, I decided to stop here because I had way more than enough for my prompt. And I also wanted to work on perhaps another prompt today if I can. So I'm gonna stop it here. I've got my parked thread ready to go, and I'll pick that up next time. But I think it's quite beautiful on this fabric. So that's where we are so far. Now, hopefully the next time I pick it up, I can at least finish this portion, which is the sampler, and then maybe I'll be able to move on over and do the other little motifs. There's some buttons, there's a pair of scissors and things like that that are on here. And I think once I finish this big piece in the middle, that I will be able to move a little bit quicker on it. This is very slow, just having to stitch in between all those lettering and things like that, but it's really cute. I really like it. So that's my stitching so far today. I'm hoping to get to do more if I can. My husband has an appointment. He's asked me to go with him today, and I'll just be waiting in the waiting room for him most of the time that we're there. So I am going to take with me, I am a needlesmith, because I have some stitching to do in that skirt that's just straight up and down, columns of the same color. And I think that would be great to take with me to stitch on while I wait for him. So I just wanted to share that with you. I am excited about those plans. And I am going to let you get back to what you were doing. Hopefully you're stitching. And I'll talk to you the next time I have something to share with you. If I get enough stitching done on anything else today, I'll pop back in this evening. I'll share it with you. But if not, then I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Friday. It's April the 7th, and I wanted to give you an update on my stitching and activities of the day. I am thrilled to be able to tell you that I was able to get one of my Whip Go calls done today. It was for Royal Games 1. I finished the lady on this part last time. So now I'm working on this one. Isn't she lovely? All those purples and teals and just really, really, really nice. So I did exactly with my project as I did with this pattern. I flipped it upside down so that it would be easy to stitch on, and that the lady would be the right side up for me. So here is her waist here. This is starting the bodice of her dress. That's her neckline there. This outlines her waist on the inside. And this is part of her cape coming down here. So I actually stitched 550 stitches today, or 5 hours. And that was my goal for Whip Go, was 5 hours on Royal Games. I felt like that would give me a great start on her, and I certainly did. I started right here at the waist, and when that color ran over here, I just went with it. And when it came up here, I just went with it. And so that's why it's kind of all over the place. But I like it because now I have points all around that I can count off of and do whatever color, you know, I feel like doing that day, whatever symbol I want to do. So there you have it, Royal Games 1. And I was watching Julie and Alyssa from Stitching at the Cabin this morning while I was stitching, and she showed this pattern, Royal Games 1, that she had purchased, and she mentioned that I had it, and I do, and I'm working on it. And Julie, I hope you'll join me and work on it with me soon. But you mentioned that there was a companion piece to it, and you weren't sure if it was jacks or kings or what, but it's actually the other two queens, and it's called Royal Games 2, and this is what it looks like. It's got the clubs and the diamond. And I have it kitted up, and due to a very sweet gift of my friend Lisa, the Silver Stitcher, I have the bead pack to go with it. She gifted that to me. So this is just rocking right along. I'm excited because when I finish this one, I'm going to do the other one. I'll just start it right up. So I mentioned that was a Whip Go call for me, and I had actually put that yellow because I had stitched on it before, and when I was finishing that Queen of Hearts, and I had put it yellow in case I wanted to go ahead and count it done when it got called. But I decided this week I really wanted to get started on that second queen, and so I used this to help push me to go ahead and pull it out and put a lot of work in it because I had to do 5 hours. And as it turned out, I could use it for other prompts. So in addition to Whip Go, it was one of my G's in the Easter eggs, which is the Daily 30 acrostic, and you have to do 300 stitches in that, and I did 550, so that was fine. But the G stood for games in Royal Games. And then, in addition to Whip Go and the Easter eggs acrostic, I could use it as well in my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, and it stood for the R in Royal Games. So 3 prompts knocked out, one of them a Whip Go prompt, which is the biggest ones I do today. I am thrilled. I think that is a great accomplishment. I'm very happy with it. I started working on it this morning and then had to do some various and sundry breaks. Went to lunch out with my hubby, and then this afternoon we took Coco for a meet and greet. There will be times when the people that we love to care for her may not be available, and if there was an emergency, what would we do? And so we picked 2 dog sitters to go see. And we saw one today, and we'll see another dog sitter on Monday. Today's dog sitter was two gentlemen, and they both work from home, and they have two dogs. Each of them has a dog that sort of has adopted them as their person. I think that's funny how that happens. But their dogs' names were Penelope and Lily. And Lily was extremely loving and affectionate, and I don't know if you can see, she jumped up on me trying to kiss me right on the face. It was so cute. She's a doll. I could have brought her home with me to be with Coco. But Penelope is a little bit more shy. She's younger, and so, but she was, I guess, really the calmest of all three of the dogs. But we took Coco with us. We drove over. We came in. We met the two guys. We met their two dogs, and then we let Coco meet the two dogs. They were so excited to meet her. They were standing at the back door on the deck, and they were just so excited because they could see her, and they couldn't get to her. And they just, at first I thought they were going to be aggressive because they were jumping up and down and barking so much, but no, they were excited. They wanted to meet her. So when they let them in the house, and they met a little bit, and then we took them outside in the yard. And we sat in their backyard and let the dogs just run and play. And Coco didn't get too far away from my husband or myself for very long, but she lost herself a little bit in the thrill of being there with other dogs. And she did run around the backyard a little bit and play with them. And then toward the end of the conversation, we weren't there long, less than 30 minutes, but toward the end of the conversation of meeting, especially one of the gentlemen who's the primary caregiver for the puppy dogs, he was sitting talking with us, and we were sharing stories about our puppies and some of the funny things they do. And Coco walked right up to him, and he just reached down and started, scratching under her ears and under her chin, and she let him. Now, I know if you've ever met Coco, or if you've watched my channel very much about people meeting Coco, that is a rare occurrence. Our neighbor, it took her 2 years to be able to touch Coco under the chin, and sometimes Coco will let her, and sometimes she won't. My friend Donna, Coco just loves Donna, but there are days when Coco won't let her touch her. She just is too shy. So I don't know what it is, but this guy was like a dog whisperer. He just reached right out, and she just stood right there and gave him her head. I couldn't believe it. I was thrilled because that tells me she'll be comfortable with him. And if I need to, he will definitely be a backup sitter for me. So anyway, that was delightful. And I think Coco had a good time because she came home and laid down for a nap. She played hard enough in that short visit that she needed a nap. I thought that was cute. Okay, I'm going to get busy now and start packing my little craft case to take with me to the library because our library day is tomorrow. And I'm excited about that. I've got, so far, about 19 people are saying they're coming. I hope they all can. I know it's an Easter weekend, and that can be tough. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a happy Easter. You probably won't see this before Easter, so I really should say I hope you had a happy Easter. All right, I will give you an update report after we meet the second dog sitter on Monday, and let you know how that goes as well. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome again. It is later on April the 7th. I did get the chance to come back and stitch again. I'm really happy about that. Tommy and Coco went for a long walk today. They did that primarily because tomorrow it's going to rain. And so we wanted Coco to have a really good long walk this afternoon because she probably won't get to do that tomorrow at all. So while they were out and about, I wanted to meet another prompt. So I pulled out my Love Abide by La-Di-Da, and This was a gift to me from my friend Glow, and I started it recently due to a whip go pull. And I shared with you a little bit about my journey in finding the right fabric and the right count based on what I had in my stash, and I am working on this for an unusual prompt. This prompt was to work on something that would actually be in some way breaking a rule. And normally when you work on 1/1, you only use one strand of floss, hence the name 1/1, one strand of floss over one thread of your fabric. But because this was a larger count of fabric and it was a looser weave, I had to do 2/1 to make it really stand out in the words. Now, I've heard from several of you a recommendation that when it gets down into that dense stitching in the houses and that grass, 1/1 may be just fine. And I hope it is, because that'll save a lot of floss. So what I did today, I needed a minimum of 200 stitches, or the highest level I could get points for was 300. Anything above that, you just stay at the same points that you have. But today I was able to get 347 stitches in. And basically what I had decided today is I'm going to stitch at least 300 stitches. But I'm going to set a small goal for myself because I just wanted to do that to help get this started. And so my goal was to finish the second line. I got my 300 stitches in probably somewhere around here, and I just kept going. Maybe in here. But anyway, 347 stitches, finished out that line. I'm really tickled that I got a prompt for, it was the final one of my baseball week challenge that ends on the 14th. So I finished it in good time. There's a new one up in the Daily 30 group that was posted today called Castles, and it's got some interesting prompts. You are to stitch on your grandest whip and tell why you think it's grand. So a lot of that will be, just your opinion, but you have to be willing to kind of think about it and then talk about it so that you can, explain it. Another interesting prompt is to stitch on something that is a second of something, whether it's your second oldest whip or your second largest whip, or something that it's second in. And another one is to stitch on a whip that reminds you or illustrates your own heritage. That is going to be an interesting one. So we'll see how many of those I get. I have thought about it. I'm going to try to go for a couple of them at least, but I think because I have so much going on this month with all of the special music for church, and with our my husband going on a big hike, and I'm going to have a whole lot more time taken up with Coco than I normally do, because he takes so much time with her. That I may not be able to hit as many prompts, as I have in the past. And so I very well may stick to whip go and my cross sticks and just hit a few of these prompts that I can. So today I was really tickled when I was able to finish up my baseball week, because that may be one of the ones this month that I get to hit all 5 of them. I don't know. I don't want to make it to the point where it's, difficult on me or hard on me to do. But I have my travel bag all packed and ready to go to the library tomorrow, and I am packing up my project now here and putting it away now that I've hit this prompt. I'm going to do just a little bit of planning in my whips, putting things in order for later on. But this weekend my son's coming to visit. I don't think I'll get much stitching done, and that's going to be okay. So I just want to kind of take stock of everything, and that way I'll know where I pick up, when I can stitch. Again, I hope you have a very happy Easter. If you're seeing family or having a family gathering, I hope you have a wonderful time. And I hope to come back and see you soon. I hope to be able to have something to show you, maybe Monday or Tuesday after Easter. So until then, everybody, happy stitching. Okay, here is the mantle for Easter. I have my Easter basket straw across the top with the eggs, the purple and blue candles, the little boy and girl bunny rabbits, my Jim Shore bunny rabbit with chick, and then several of my Easter and summery stitches. So you've got the chick there at the bottom. You've got my Time for New Beginnings up on the top corner. And then in the middle, you've got the Mirabilia Gathering Eggs. And then there's the one on the end, I think is a Brenda Gervais. But I just have an array of Easter photos that I've stitched, or pieces that I've stitched, with a little Easter montage up there for everyone to enjoy until Easter's over. Then I can maybe trade it out for spring and summer. But kind of a nod to that moving forward is the Mirabilia at the bottom there. I kind of consider that one of my 4th of July pieces. And I can't remember the name right now. I think it's Gathering Roses or something. But I'll have to look that up if you're interested. Anyway, that's what I've got around the fireplace at the moment. And it'll probably stay there till a little bit after Easter. And we'll go from there. Good evening, Floss Tube. Hi, this is Dina, and I'm here on April the 8th to give you a stitching update for today. We had our stitching meetup this morning, and I got to stay for probably 2.5 hours before I headed home. Our son came up from his hometown now, where he lives, and he was coming up to have lunch with us and talk with us and visit with us over the Easter weekend. My first understanding was that he was going to come up about lunchtime, and he would spend tonight with us and head to church with us in the morning for Easter, and then he would eat lunch with us and head home. So today when he got here and we were talking and visiting, we went to lunch. He and his dad had found a new Vietnamese restaurant here in town, the one that has the robot server, and they wanted me to experience it. So we went today, and it was so good. We had a really good lunch and we had a good time, and I got to meet Bella, the robot. It was great. And then my son surprised me, and he said that he wanted to know if he could cook us Easter lunch. And I said, yes. I had planned a meal and I had the things ready to cook it, but he said, how would you like to cook that for dinner tonight? And I'll cook us Easter lunch tomorrow. And I said, perfect. So that's what we're going to do. So today I took something that I needed to work on for a prompt, but it didn't matter how many stitches that I had to do. I didn't want to hold myself responsible for some large number of stitches today because I had no idea how much time I'd really get to stitch. So I took my Neige at Montagne, which is a Madame Lafille, and I'm stitching along with a group on Madame Lafille. There's a Madame Lafille Sal going on right now, Carolyn Zook and company, I think, are doing a Madame Lafitte. So this is mine that I have started, and it's Snow and Mountains. Translation is Snow and Mountains. And I'm actually using the French name for the prompt. It's in 24 Hours of Cross Stitch, and it's for the M in Neige at Montagne, but it also would be an M for mountains. So either way, whether you do English or French, it fit. So today, I actually did stitch 211 stitches in it. And this is what I did. I finished this section last time I worked on it. That's the middle section. So this time, I picked right up on this border. I came across and did this color in the border, came down with that color in the border, across with that color in the border, and down until my thread ran out. So that's where I stopped. That was at 211 stitches. So it's just all this one color in this border that I got going, because this will be the next little section that I will work on, trying to get that blue and snow and things like that. And hopefully it will be, the hardest part will be over after this, because most of that Neige at Montagne wording that is grafted in here, I'm leaving it out, and so I'm having to finish these snowflakes and all myself, you know, where the words might have covered them up. I'm having to make sure that they're okay. So this will be the most difficult one, and then I hope that it will just really pick up pace when I work on it, and I won't be quite so worried about it. So I have slipped away up here. My son is gaming a little bit, and I just snuck up here so I could show you what I got done. I didn't get all of that done this morning at the stitching meetup. I got a good portion of it done. But then tonight, when we were sitting around the table just visiting and talking, we had just finished a card game, and we were just sitting and visiting. And so I sat down and stitched while we were just gabbing until I finished that thread, because I wanted to be able to put it away for this evening. So that's my stitching for today. I hope you've had a great day. Tomorrow's Easter. Happy Easter. And I'm so looking forward to it. And the big surprise I got today is that our son is probably, he was thinking he was starting a new job Monday. But there's one piece of paperwork that they're waiting on from their corporate office. And since they didn't get it Friday, he can't start on Monday. They're hoping to get it Monday and he can start on Tuesday. But since he's not going to have to go to work on Monday, he decided he would spend another night with us. And then he'll head back home Monday morning. So I am thrilled to get to spend a little more time with my son. And we're happy about that. And then Monday afternoon, we go meet another dog sitter for Coco. So we'll see how that goes. Well, have a great weekend. I hope that if you are getting to see your family, that it goes really well, that you have a great visit, that everybody's healthy, and that you really enjoy the season. And I know we will. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. It is the 9th of April, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the extra stitching I got done last night. I pulled out, I am a needlesmith. I have it for one of my acrostics for N. It's in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch acrostic. And I actually stitched 455 stitches last night after we finished playing cards. We were all sitting around talking, and I just had it here at the table, and I picked it up, and I finished that ecru stripe in that skirt. 455 stitches to finish that half that I had left to do on the ecru stripe. So now, what's left to finish this are 2 sheep over here, a basket up here, and the background, the stripes that go across here that are the land, you know, where this water comes down. and it's got the land behind it. Not something you can do in one sitting. It's a lot of stitches. It's deceiving. It looks like, oh, I've got 3 little motifs and some background. But they're going to take a little while. It might take 1 or 2 more stitching sessions to finish this. But I'm excited about it because it won't be that long. So I am a needlesmith. I did get some stitching last night. Didn't think I would. But we played Farfennugan. It's a card game. And we played 1 round before dinner. And then we stopped and cooked dinner and had dinner. And then we played another round after dinner. Another game. So our son is learning how to play, and he's thoroughly enjoying it. And I'm hoping we'll play again today. But we're going to go to church this morning. My husband's already gone. He's driving the golf cart to help usher people around the parking lots because we're expecting, more people today, and they have to park further off. So he'll go pick them up, bring them up to the church. And then my son and I will head on over there right before the traditional service because I like the choir music, obviously. And we'll be there for the church service, and my husband's going to sing in the choir today, and I'm not. I'm going to sit with my son. And then he'll come down and sit with us after the choir special. He'll slip out and come join us. But then we're going to come back here, and our son is cooking lunch for us for Easter. And then we will hopefully play some more Farfennugan. And then later this afternoon, my son would like to do a little bit of gaming, and I will sit here. I'm in my kitchen breakfast area. I'll bring down a project like I did yesterday, and I'll just set up here on the table and stitch because I can talk with him back and forth in there and visit. And when he's busy playing, I can stitch, and when he's want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. So it's a nice kind of little spot to stay in. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope it's lovely weather where you are. It's clear here. It rained all day yesterday. I think we had 1 break in the weather late in the evening, and my husband rushed out with Coco just to give her a little bit of a walk. But that was it. It rained all day. So today it's not raining right now. The sun is bright, but it is cold. It is cold for Easter. I feel sorry for the children doing any little Easter egg hunts at their, parents or grandparents' home. But anyway, happy Easter, everybody, and happy stitching. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is the 9th of April. It's Easter. It's still Easter. And what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about my stitching that I've gotten done this afternoon. We've had a great day. Our son fixed us a fabulous lunch, and we had lunch. My husband is down in the basement now trying to waterproof his tent for his hike. He got a new tent, smaller than the one he had been using before, and he wants to waterproof it. So he's putting the waterproofing solution on it, sealing it, all that sort of stuff downstairs. And Coco's down there helping him, because he can't do anything without Coco helping him. Anyway, I have a few minutes to myself. Our son is gaming a little bit this afternoon. We've been playing cards for the most part of the afternoon, and everybody's just sort of chilling a little bit. I'm thinking that my husband's going to take Coco for a nice long walk right before supper. And supper is going to be just sort of everything must go, leftovers from the last 2 days, but it's going to be good food. Anyway, it's a laid back, kind of restful day, and I love it. So I have been sitting down at my kitchen table, cross-stitching, so I can hear my son in the next room, and we can talk and cut up and carry on a conversation in between his gaming. And today I decided to work on something that I could just stitch as little or as much as I wanted to. I didn't have to do 300 stitches. I could do whatever I chose. But as it turned out, I did 350 stitches anyway because I wanted to finish a few things on this piece, and I didn't want to stop stitching until I had. So this is one of my gift stitches. This is Mr. Mittens' Snowfolks at Home, which is the Jeanette Cruz design. And this is the better picture of him back here. This is for my sister Stephanie's mom. You know, she collects snowmen and she collects clowns. And so this combination is the first of such a thing I've ever seen. And I thought it would be perfect. And my sister Stephanie loved it when I sent her a picture of it. So let me show you what I did today in my 350 stitches. I hope you'll notice a bit of a difference if you've been watching. I did the star. This glove was done, but the white patch on it wasn't filled in. I filled that in. I did this glove completely. And I finished the pants up to about right here. There are a couple of squares to do over here in a different color than I was using today. I was stitching in the white and the gray to get all the white squares with their shading done. And I actually took the leg on down past the mittens once I finished them, which is wonderful. But I wanted to get these pieces done today because I have to make a decision. And you guys can help me with that. I had originally gotten some buttons that I thought I could use with this piece. There's a little mitten right here, and then there's a little heart right there. This is supposed to have a heart next to it, and this is supposed to have another mitten, and they're to be stitched, but I thought it might add some dimension if I put the buttons on there. My biggest concern is that they're small, but if they're up near they're going to be at the top of the streamer, so I think they're going to be okay. You tell me. She won't know what it's supposed to look like anyway, so it's not like, you know, she's going to be disappointed or anything. So I wanted to finish the stitching. Hey, baby. I wanted to finish the stitching today for the parts, you know, that I was going to cross stitch on that string that the snowman is holding. Now all I have to do, if I decide to go ahead and put the buttons on, which I'm leaning toward, is to finish the pants and the shoes. And then I have all the back stitching, and there's a lot of back stitching. Hey, baby. Coco is here. She's wanting me to know she's here. Hey, darling. And then I can put this, you know, into the finish file. I had thought I might make a stand-up out of it, but I've never made one before. I'm not sure I would be any good at it. I'm going to have to watch Vanna's tutorial and see if I think I can handle it. But if not, I can definitely frame it or make a flat fold out of it. I'm thinking, I just made her a flat fold this past year, so I'm thinking I would frame this one. And then they could hang it up on the wall out of the way, and she wouldn't have to put it on a tabletop or anything like that. So, there you go. There's Mr. Mittens, an additional 350 stitches in him. Now, he's on my Whip Go board for 5 hours of stitching, but he hasn't been called yet. But today, I at least got him a tad bit closer to being finished, and I'm very happy about that. So there's Mr. Mittens. Now, Mr. Mittens is for the 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, and it's for the M, and in Spur of Moment, it's for the first M that starts the word moment, and that's what he'll be posted for. I'm about to post him now, and then I will be looking at my prompts and whips that I have left to stitch for the month in my prompt stitching, and I'll pick something else to get started in because I may get a little bit more stitching in today, just kind of here and there, you know, throughout the day. And it can add up like this one did. This one surprised me. I did not expect to get that much stitching done today, but you know what? It went quick. It was in those blocks of color, and even though there was a bit of confetti in the gloves, you know, because this red glove, for instance, has 2 shades of red in it, even though you can't see it, and it has white. And this glove is blue, but it also has ecru and yellow in it. So, you know, there is a bit of confetti going on, but not bad. And the little squares were where I really got a little traction, so that was helpful. Anyway, Coco and I will say good day, good afternoon, and hopefully I'll get a chance to check in with you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's Dina. It's April the 10th, and I am here on a Monday morning to tell you a little bit about my most recent stitching. We had an inspection of our air conditioning system this morning, and I had to keep Coco with me quiet if I could for probably a couple of hours. And so I have been wildly stitching. I started working on this last night, and then I just kind of continued on it this morning while I was dog sitting. But I picked up my Raggedy Ann that I'm going to make as an ornament for my friend. And I started working on it. And I thought it was interesting because yesterday the pieces I worked on Mr. Mittens, which is a gift. And then I picked up this Raggedy Ann, which will be a gift. So I was gift stitching yesterday. But I did 383 stitches now that I'm ready to put it away. And I have almost, with the exception of just a few stitches around this bottom, I have completed her dress. Isn't that great? I still haven't pulled the blue colors for the teapot. I'll do that later, but I didn't have access to my threads while I was keeping Coco quiet. And you can see she's catching up now. She's still barking at him because his van is still in the driveway where he's writing up his report, I guess. Anyway, she's not happy with him because he came in. But isn't that cute? Isn't she turning out so cute? Now this is her dress here. This is the part of like bloomers, and then she has another little leg that goes out this way. So one's sitting down here, one's sitting over here, and she's sitting on a ball. And I already have a few stitches down here that were in the same color as part of her shading in her dress that are part of the, I think it's supposed to be a globe of the world. I'm not sure, but it's a ball. Anyway, there she goes. Haven't done any more back stitching below her head, but I was trying to get all the cross stitching done in her dress and her legs, and then I could stitch her and then just work on the little ball. But there you have it. That's the first stitching for the day. We are taking Coco with us today to meet a new potential dog sitter. It's just as far away as the other ones, but we're looking for backups. We're looking for people that can keep her when our primary sitter isn't available for maybe just a day at a time. And so our last visit Friday was successful, we felt like, and we will probably book her with them for a day just to let her get used to them. And then maybe while Tommy's gone, let her go play with Penelope and Lily. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I was taking this out of the Q-snap so I could show you. It's a very small piece on this very big piece of fabric. So I will obviously be able to make other things on my fabric when I'm through with this. I hope you had a great Easter weekend. I hope your week's getting off to a good start. Mine certainly is. Our son decided to stay overnight. Last night, we were playing cards late, and, you know, he was gaming, and we just had a lovely time. We ate leftovers for dinner, and now we're about to start our day and in for real, because now that the guy's gone, we can really move about and do things. So looking forward to having lunch with him today before he heads back home. He had the day off today. So we'll have thoroughly enjoyed this visit, and we'll put in a picture of our family on Easter Sunday at the end of the video. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's later on the 10th. I am here to tell you I was able to get some more stitching done this evening, and I am tickled to death. I had a Zoom call with some friends, and I was stitching with them, and I had chosen to work on Small Gift. I'm working on this for a prompt, actually for 3 prompts. So it's in my 30-day group, and it's for the acrostic Easter egg. And so this is one of the E's for the designer, Mary Engelbright. So that's what I'm using that one for. And then it's in 2 other acrostics, the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch and my monthly magazine challenge. And so it's going to be used for 3 different prompts, but of course, because it's in my daily 30 prompt, I had to stitch at least 300 stitches. So tonight, while I was talking on my Zoom call, I was able to hit 311. I had started working on this late in the afternoon, right after we got back from meeting a potential emergency dog sitter for us, a backup dog sitter. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then I got busy working on my stitching. And when I finished, just a few minutes ago, I wanted to share it with you. So I worked on the green in the dress, 2 colors, and I worked on the beginning of that flower that you see there. So that's where I got to, 311 stitches. So I'm just working my way on down, getting the girl done, because she's the main focus of the piece, and all the other stuff comes out from behind her. They're looking around behind her and the trees behind her. So I think finishing her would be the prudent thing to do. And I think she is precious, absolutely precious. So I haven't done any more back stitching on her dress or the gift or anything yet. I probably will finish all of her before I do any more back stitching, but I am thrilled that I was able to do that on that dark navy blue fabric. It is Aida, and it is 14 count Aida, I believe, but it's still dark. So fortunately for me, I'm able to see it. I wouldn't work on it in the evening before because I couldn't see it very well at night, but I am thrilled that I was able to do that today. That was a good improvement. So happy about that. Well, today we took Coco to meet a potential dog sitter, and this lady was delightful, and she has 1 dog of her own who gets lonely, and so she started dog sitting actually to provide a playmate or 2 for her puppy, and she's been dog sitting now for 5 years. And more recently, her mother-in-law, who lives right next door, lost her puppy of many years, and she is not, the mother-in-law is now 90 years old and isn't willing to take on, you know, all the care of a new puppy. So instead, she borrows her granddog. So every day, the dog sitter's husband takes the dog with him and goes to check on his mom, and winds up usually leaving the dog with his mother for most of the day to be her companion and company. And then he goes back over to pick up the dog and check on his mom again in the afternoon or evening. So it was a delightful time to meet her, and they live in the middle of a wooded area, and they have fenced this huge yard all around and left it natural. So there are little pathways all through it for the puppies to run, and she said they walk the perimeter of their yard along the fence line every day, about 3 times a day. She takes out whoever she has, and they walk, and then they play outside until they're all ready to come in. And she did also say they slept wherever they wanted. If they want to sleep on a couch, they sleep on a couch. If they want to sleep on the floor, on a rug, they do. If we want to bring her a bed, that's fine. And but she only crates them if the owners ask for it. So if a puppy is used to being crated and that's their safe place, she asks you to bring that, and then she'll have it out there for the puppy. But you know, if your dog's not used to being crated and ours isn't, then she does not require that. So that is an improvement over the people we met Friday that do require dogs to be crated for sleeping at night. And Coco will not sleep. She would cry all night long. So they can be emergency sitters for us for daytime, but not for an overnight, ever. Wouldn't put her through that. So this was a much better visit today. Although I liked the people just fine Friday, that bothered me, you know, that I could only leave her there for one day. I could never leave her overnight. And this place, I think we could. And Coco let her pet her. She didn't want to at first. She was a little shy. But this lady just kept talking to her and calling to her. And then after they walked together with my husband, you know, walked the perimeter of the yard together. And Coco saw that we were being friends and this was an okay person. And when she knelt down and went to scratch Coco under the chin, normally Coco will pull away, but she didn't this time. She let her touch her. She let her pet her, and I was really proud of her. I felt like, oh, Coco, you're doing so well. Anyway, we had a good visit. So that was wonderful. Well, I am going to have to head on to bed because my husband's getting up really early in the morning. He got a phone call today out of the blue, and he recently was a double in a filming. He was a hand double, and so they filmed his hands in the place of the actor's hands for a scene so that the actor didn't have to be there for that. And they are filming again for the same actor, and they're needing a hand shot, and that's all they're filming. They don't need to pay the actor so much money to be there all day. So they called my husband, asked if he would like to be that hand double again. Since he was the first one, they wanted to see if they could get the same person again, so there's consistency with the hands, you know, that are supposed to be his. So he said sure. So he's gonna go and be a hand double again tomorrow, and he's kind of excited about that. So it'll be me and Coco tomorrow. I have a very crazy busy day tomorrow, so we got to squeeze in a couple of walks. Probably one early in the morning and then one in the afternoon. But I have several meetings tomorrow. It just turned out they all fell on the same day. Hadn't planned that in the beginning, but it's turning into a long day. So we'll see how that goes. But I hope you've had a good start to your week. I hope you've enjoyed your stitching. I know I certainly have, and I'm so proud of the progress I was able to make. And getting 311 stitches in was great. I always love it when I can get at least 300 and something. Makes you feel like you can see a difference. At least it does to me. So I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing, and I hope to have some stitching to share with you tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will, but the next time I do, I'll come back and share it with you. Happy stitching, everybody.
I stitched this in 2016 because it was in the 2016
We've been
issues of Just
trying to
Cross-Stitch
stitch a little bit today.
This one is on a straight up sticky board. I don't finish like that anymore.
But this
This was
one
one of the first ones I did, so
wants
I
to
don't
be
want to pull it off
touched.
now, and there's not enough. I couldn't do as much
You
with
can
it,
hear
so
Helen
it's
D
on
in the
there. It
background.
is what it is.
I'm trying to watch her and
So
cross
that one I will
stitch.
switch out.
But right now, somebody needs their chin scratched. Yes, they do.